We're all just like Judge Judy. I realized again this past week that I live in a constant state of judgment. And guess what? So do you, whether you realize it or not, or admit it or not. And there's that passage in Luke 6:37 where Jesus says, "Do not judge and you will not be judged. Don't condemn and you won't be condemned. Forgive and you will be forgiven." But I tell you what, we judge constantly, don't we? We judge every person we see. We judge their clothes. We judge how they look. We judge how they behave. We judge what they say and what they do and what they don't do and what they don't say. We get up and we see the sunshine and we say, "Oh, what a great day. What a beautiful day it's going to be." We see the rain and we say, "Oh, what miserable weather." We read a book and we tell a friend how good it is. We take a bite of food and we judge it. Our little ego, fearful minds do little else than judge, judge, judge. Just watch yourself and see how often you judge. We judge constantly. Perhaps we think that keeps us safe in some way. We think we know, but we really don't. We can't figure out how everything should work out perfectly. We can't see the whole with our little minds and the little part that we see. We can't see the whole that God sees. And we never will. And that we think that if we don't judge, or when we do judge, it makes us afraid. And when we do judge, it makes us miserable. And when we do judge, it saps away the life and the joy from life. You see, then we're afraid of others because we know they're judging us just like we're judging them. And so we live in fear of others. We live in fear of judgment, of condemnation, of lack of forgiveness. And it prevents us mostly from connecting with God. Because when we live in a spirit of judgment, nothing can separate us from God, but we experience feeling disconnected from God because we're not living in that feeling of love, of God's love. And we judge, and it's like a poison that we drink, and we don't even realize it. We think it keeps us safe, and we don't want to be vulnerable. We don't want to be bowled over. But the opposite is true. It just takes away our happiness. You see, relief from suffering comes from not judging. Relief from feeling separated from God or not connected with God comes from not judging. And then we connect with the peace of God that's always already there. But we're contaminated by judgment. So, what if we let go of judgment? Impossible, it seems. It's not going to stop overnight, if ever. But what if we became more aware of our judgments? What if we said to our little fearful minds, "Okay, thanks for sharing, but I'm going to choose not to believe in you"? What if we brought our judgments to the Holy Spirit and asked God's Spirit to heal our minds of all of our judgment? What if we desired that our judgment would simply be undone? What if desire was all that it took? What if undoing it is not our task, but we turn our desire of it over to the Holy Spirit and God does it for us? What if we didn't worry about how our judgments could be undone, didn't try to undo them ourselves, but allow God to undo them for us? So here's an experiment for one day, just for 24 hours. I dare you. And you and I are going to fail miserably, but I dare us all to do it. Step back from judgment for this one day, for 24 hours. Don't judge yourself when you look in the mirror. Don't judge the person who just cut in front of you in traffic. Don't judge the way your coworker eats their sandwich. Don't judge what that person says or what that person does. Don't. And realize how frequently we do. But also how much more peaceful our mind becomes when we don't. And how better we feel when we don't. And how much we tune in and connect and feel connected to God's love when we don't. You see, judgment separates us from feeling that love of God that we live in, I think. When we feel bad, we're separating ourselves from love, which is our natural place to be as children of God. So I dare you, I dare me, 24 hours, just become more aware of your judgment. And that will even help us to free ourselves as we turn it over to God and ask God for help. So God, help us. Do not judge. God, help us to do just that. Take what's helpful, leave the rest, and until next time, may you live all the days of your life.